Hello everyone, Regan Okoro here. Okay, I'm in the Port Swingers Web Security Academy lab, and this lab is titled Reflected Doom SSS, right? But the major goal right now is not to solve this lab, right? Anyone can just take a payload and just input here, and boom, it's giving you a lot of cross-site scripting. But basically, I just want to show you guys something very critical and very important, right? And every website owner needs to know this. Website owners can self-diagnose their website and check from the web browser if source is being linked to a dangerous sync. Because if a source is being linked to a dangerous sync, then a doom SSS can happen. Attackers, the bad guys, can see it as a means to inject or input dangerous malware into the the code, and it can disrupt the website totally, right? Now I want to show you guys how to basically map, right? How to basically trace the source to the dangerous sync. Very important. If you can trace a source to the dangerous sync, then you can tell if your website is vulnerable to Doom SSS or not. Now, mind you, this is reflected Doom SSS, right? So we have this hybrid, right? We have normal Doom SSS, which is what I just explained right now. Now, the reflected Doom SSS is quite different, even though the similarity, the difference is not that much, right? Now, we are talking about reflected Doom SSS. Now, take note, very important. Unlike a reflected SSS, where your payload is being reflected in the HTTP response, HTML, the HTTP response attributes, or basically the HTTP response JavaScript, right? Now, reflected Doom SSS, your payload or your input is reflected in the JSON, right? Strictly in the JSON, right? So pen testers, right, like made this mistake of inputting their payload and going to Boursuit to check response to see if the payload is present in the HTML, HTML or the attribute, which is and it will give them a bad day because they will not see any of the payloads there, right? If it is a reflected Doom SSS, your payload will be reflected in the HTTP response JSON, right? And where can you see the HTTP response JSON? You can see that in the HTTP history in the Boursuit, right? Now, basically, some web testers from pen testers might just intercept and input the payload, probably Doom 123, then intercept it and check HTTP response, and they won't see their input inside the response, right? And they feel that okay, reflected Doom SSS is cancelled, but they didn't check the HTTP history for the JSON, right? It's basically present in the HTTP history, and I'll show you that right now. So that is the difference between the reflected SSS and the reflected Doom SSS. Now let's do a practical check on what I've just said right now. So we'll go to this is Bossy, this is still the lab, right? But this is in Kali Linux. This is Kali Linux and this is the lab, right? So now everything I just said, let's do it practical here right now. This is reflected Doom SSS. I told you that reflected Doom SSS, you will not see your input in the HTTP response. Now let's do that. So firstly, we're going to do what? We're going to type our, let's just say Doom 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or 5. Now let's intercept. Let's check whether it's connected to the Foxy proxy. Yeah, connected. So now let's intercept, right? So we'll send it to repeater because we'll be using the code repeatedly. So we'll turn off intercept to go to repeater. And now this is our search, right? keyword, our search input, which is in the request. So what we are just going to do, we're going to send it, and this is the response. So what are we going to do right now? This is where a majority of pen testers make mistake and miss reflected Doom XSS. They go here, search for Doom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and enter. Right? Nothing, zero match. So they didn't see anything. They didn't see it reflecting in the response. So they feel that reflected Doom XSS is cancelled. Right? It's not a form of vulnerability in this web application. Now we are doing a totally black box testing. So we're assuming that we don't know the vulnerability in this web application. So we don't know that basically we don't know the vulnerability. So we are cancelling this reflected Doom XSS. We are doing a total black box testing here. So right now you can see not present. So now what we fail to do is to check the HTTP history for the HTTP JSON of this request. So if you go down, if you go to proxy, go to HTTP history and search for JSON 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, a lot. Right here, right, you can see JSON. So click it, right, I click it too much. So we click it, right, this is it. So this is the request. As you can see, this is our input in the request. So our response, we found our inputs, right? But we didn't find our inputs in the HTTP response HTTP or the response attribute. We strictly found our input in the JSON, which is the JavaScript of the response, which confirms reflected Doom XSS. That is to say, reflected Doom XSS, our input is strictly reflected in the response JSON. Right now, next step, we'll go back to let me quickly check if my running. Okay, it's running. Alright, so now you go back to this, and now the whole concept of this Doom XSS is the whole concept, right? When we're talking about Doom XSS in general, we are looking for the vulnerability in the browser. So we don't have any business with the response or with the server. This is client-based vulnerability, right? So we're looking for the vulnerability in the JavaScript of the browser, right? So now what are we going to do next? We are going to input our keyword here, right? And we are going to inspect and check if our keyword is going to be present in the Doom. Step 1, very important. Input your keyword here. Remember the key goal of what we are doing right now is to teach you guys how to link a source, how to trace a source to a dangerous sink, to give you the idea that your web application is vulnerable to Doom XSS and hackers can take advantage of it. Now, I said the first step is what? After you have confirmed those ones with bosses, then when we get back, when we are dealing with the browser in general, the first step is to what? Input your payload, right? Let's say Doom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And you basically search, right? Now, this payload, Doom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see it's in the browser. It says to zero search result for Doom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our key goal right now is to check if our input was present or is present in the Doom. How do we do that? We right click, go to inspect, right? We go to source, right? We have element console source. We click on source. Then it might be something like this. So you have to open this up, right? You open this up, then the Doom itself is in you open it up, right? Okay, open it up, then you bring this drop down. You see JS, you open the drop down and you see the search result.js, right? This is the JavaScript of this web application. You open it, you click it, right? And you can see that now it's reflecting. Okay, let's still click this one too. So you can see that it's reflecting the JavaScript, which is this of this web application is this, and this is our search result Doom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we want to check if it's present in the Doom. So how do we use universal search. We do universal search. How do we do universal search? First of all, we reload this page as we have entered this aspect of um, the Chrome browser, the inspect aspect. We reload the page with Control capital letter R. Now, after that, we do universal search, which is Control Shift F, and search for our key inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and check if it's present. You do enter. Now you can see, we click it. As you can see, our search is present in the DOM. Very, very important. Very, very, very important. We have to, and you can see that this result we saw here is similar to what we saw in here, right? What we saw in the HTTP response of the JSON. As you can see, it's very similar. So now we have confirmed that it's present in the DOM. Now let me give you another. There's another misconception, another mistake pen testers do make, right? Which I've observed. Your payload present in the source doesn't mean that your payload will be present in the DOM. It's a different thing. When I was doing a lot of findings and a lot of learning, I discovered it that there's a difference between your payload appearing in the source and your payload appearing in the DOM. Right now, my payload appears in the DOM, right, using this process. But now let's see if our payload will appear in the source, which I believe it will appear in the source, right? The source of this basically is at this top here, this location.search, right? Because if you put hash here, right, hash here, something like hash here, if you put hash here right now, this is a location.hash, right? Now the location.source, which is what we are now, so we have to watch it. Go to location. This thing might not be there, so you just delete it. So you want to add it. It might just be like this. This might just be the normal. If you enter this inspect, this might be how you see it. So if you want to add location, you just search for it. Search for location. Then press enter. So once you search for location and press enter, you see this drop down. Then search. Look for search. You can see here location.search. This is search. Let's open this up. As you can see, this is our input, right? So our input appears in location.search, and location.search is the source. So meaning that our input appear in the source, but our input appear in the source doesn't mean that our input will appear in the DOM. It's different. So we have to check both of them. But basically, the major thing that we have to search for is input appearing in the DOM. The source is a secondary issue. Not really, it's optional. So now we've confirmed our input appear in the DOM. Now this is where it gets interesting. So now we are going to know the source that this page uses, right? We have different sources. We have location.search, we have location.hash, right? We have different sources, document.referral. But the basic one which I will be talking about here is location dot, let's see, location.hash. Let's see whether this source is present. Mind you, in a real environment, right, we might see a lot of location.hash here, right? Probably port swinger probably, I don't know why it didn't show. In a normal environment, there might be a lot of location.search. A lot, you can see a lot of location.search. Sorry, location.hash source here. Once you search for it, a lot. But it's not present right now. Probably it was hidden. But I just want you to take note of that, because that is where we have multiple breakpoints when we want to link source to dangerous things, right? Well, now location.search is not present. Let's see document. I think we have document.location as a source. I think so. Document.location. I think we have something like this. Not present. So let's see. referrer not present. So let's see document the location. Document, sorry, that's location dot hash rather. Sorry, location dot search, but not location dot hash. Let's see. Okay, location dot search is present. You can see this is the source. Now we click on it and let's expand our view. Now you can see here, this is location dot search right here. So this is a source, right? Now let me give you a little understanding, a little knowledge about sync. There are some sync, right, in JavaScript developers use that could cause danger in that JavaScript source code when it is found or linked with a source. Right now we have different kinds of sync. We have inner HTML, we have outer HTML, right? We have ever, right? We have Angular JS, right? We have different kind of sync, dangerous syncs, different a lot, right? Now developers need to know this sync, and they need to be careful not to link it with the source. They need to be very careful. One of the remedies, when we're talking about remedies with JavaScript, is using text content instead of inner HTML, right? Now this is back to what we were saying, this location the search. Now our main goal, this is where it gets interesting. This is our main goal of this exercise, not to solve the problem, but not to solve the lab exercise. This is our main goal right now, to link this location to the dangerous sync. How do we link it? How do we connect this location to search to that dangerous sync? Let's confirm if my recording is still going on. Okay, right now. Okay, now the first step is to use the Chrome debugger, right? Is a debugger around here. As you can see, okay, this is breakpoint. So now we use the Chrome debugger. How do we do it? Firstly, that location that says the number points, we're going to click it just once, left click, and that is it. We set a breakpoint. This is how to set breakpoints, right? This is how to set breakpoint. So we set a breakpoint like this. You just click it. If you click it out, if you click out, if you click again, it turns blue. So once it turns blue, this is what set a breakpoint. What is the purpose of setting a breakpoint? We set a breakpoint so that when the code gets to that particular point where we set a breakpoint, it's going to pause. And once it pauses, we can now observe what is going on in that JavaScript. You can see the code. You can see where this code here, this script is linking, where this script called another script, and where the script maybe is going after the script. What is this script calling? What is the source of this script? What is this calling? So we did it by stepping over and stepping into, and during the process of stepping over and stepping into, we are going to find if this source is linked with a dangerous sync. Now, this is a practical aspect. Now, firstly, you set a breakpoint. Then the next step after setting a breakpoint is to on your cap lock, right, and use Control capital R. Control capital R. That is all. That is all. Right now, now you will now check here, right? You can see here, this is step over at your right hand side. You see step over. So once you're stepping, if you step over, it means that this script here right now is going to step to the next script that is connected to this script, right? If you step into, right, this script right here, you're going to see what is going on inside it, right? You're stepping into the same script, but you're seeing what's going on inside the script, right? Now, if you step out, it means that you are more like disconnecting from the total connections of this script in general. So now we're going to step into, because we're stepping into to see whether this source location of search is linking to any sync, dangerous sync. I said earlier, we have different kind of sync. You need to know these different kind of sync so that you'll be able to identify them in JavaScript. We have inner HTML, we have outer HTML, we have document.write, we have ever, right? We have Angular JS, we have I think jQuery or something like that, right? Different kind of sync, right? Now, we putting this in mind, then we are going to step over. Let's see. So right here, I'm going to click here, step over. As you can see, from here, all the way from here is stepped all the way to this point. So this function called after this one, this particular function called this function, right? Now let's step over again, as you can see, and that function, after that function, it linked to this point, to this JavaScript point, right? If you step over again, it's showing you the connections. You can see from that location dot search, it called one function, and landed all the way to this function, right? So location dot search, there's a script here that is connected to location dot search, which is the search result, right? But our main goal is not actually to, as we are reading the script, our main goal is to be seeing if it's connected to a dangerous sync. And how you know a dangerous sync, you should know the sync we're talking about. We have inner HTML, blah 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 blah. We have talked about the inner HTML, outer HTML, ever, and all those kind of sync. So we should be taking note of that while we're stepping over. Right? We step over here, right? So all these are connection to that location dot search, but we need that connection with a dangerous sync, right? So this is a function call, right? This is a conditional statement, right? A function call. The function is called we have this function called search, right? All these function calls is linked to location dot search, right? And the argument in this function called search is path, right? And now there's a conditional statement that over here, and if this conditional statement is true, then it's going to execute this, right? Now let's step over this and see the next line of code that this is going to step over to. Right, now it's stepped over to this. Let's see again. It stepped over back to this. Let's see again. It stepped over back to this. Let's see again. Same. Boom. Right, this is our sync, right? So if this condition is true, this is going to call, right? If this condition is true, then this is going to execute, and if this executes, this is a dangerous sync linked with that location dot search. And I said earlier that one of the dangerous sync is HTML over inner HTML, outer HTML, document dot write, ever, Angular, JS, different kind of sync, and this is part of it, ever, right? And now let's step into this thing because we want to see where it's going to link us. We want to see what's happening inside this dangerous thing. We want to see if it's going to link us to our input, our payload or our inputs. So we step into this dangerous thing and see what's going on. Step into, boom, right? And this is it. It linked us to our inputs, right? DOM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means that if a hacker finds this out and input a dangerous JavaScript, a malicious JavaScript inside this input, inside this string, then the website itself, it can destroy the website, or it can do a lot of things in this website, right? Because this website is vulnerable to reflected DOM XSS. So what next? The next thing now is to this is it right here. So we have linked it, we have confirmed that this is vulnerable to reflected DOM XSS. We have seen the connection between the source and the sink, and the sink is ever. With the sink, we know the payload to use, right? So basically what I do is that once I know the source and I know the sink, I can just go to Google and ask ever, right? Since this dangerous sink is ever, I say ever sink, ever payload, ever location dot search payload for reflected DOM XSS, and Google just gave me the payload and I input it. So you can do that, right? But let me just copy this. I can copy this. I'll copy this right here. Copy. So now I go back. I paste it here. Right here. Paste. Now I'm going to add this. This is my input that I found in the link between the source and the dangerous sync. So I'm going to add my ever payload, which if you browse it on Chrome, you are going to see. So let's just check it. Let's just click like that. You say ever um, ever location dot search payload. Other option is to use port swinger cheat sheets for reflected doom XSS, right? So search, okay, ping right here. So you can see there are a lot of payload right here, but you go to search, and we'll see payload related to ever, something like this. But we're not using scripts because this is not going to work for this thing. Something like this. You can see doom manipulation, focus on how the input is utilized in JavaScript construct. If ever is used for anything that processes JavaScript, consider payload like this, right? But in this aspect, this search equals to 1 is going to be replaced with your input that was found in the connection between the source and the sink, right? So what we're going to just copy is this for all the way from here all the way down to here, right? So we'll go back to this, copy, paste our script.
So guys, I've already solved the lab, right? Reflected Doom SSS. The main goal is not just to copy and paste the load, right? The main goal is to understand what is going on, everything that is going on,
Bye.
everything concerning the reflected Doom SSS that is going on, which I just explained to you guys. And I hope my explanation will help you guys to move further. Thanks.